Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of How About This?
How about this?
I'm your host, Rafiq Shaheen, and with me is always my lovely co-host.
Oh, you.
Oh, you.
Oh, I was supposed to say my name.
Yes. That's usually the spot
Getting
where
here
you
is-
introduce yourself.
Getting here has been a little bit of a chore today. I'm a little frazzled. I'm Alan Dempsey.
And with us is the ever-talented and lovely...
Kaiti McCoy. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kaiti McCoy. How are you?
I'm great.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Do you do the yuck yucks? Do you make with the jokes?
I make with the jokes. I have been making with the jokes for 3 years now. And I'm at that point where it's like I'm in it. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing it. It's for real. I can honestly say I am a comedian.
The thing I love about comics, whenever you ask them that question, there's always this tinge in our voice that sounds like you're at an AA meeting. You're like, I've been doing this for 3 years. I had a moment the other day where I couldn't help it. I was passing by an open mic and I just found myself there and I had to call my sponsor.
I hit rock bottom.
And I see it as the opposite. It's almost like I have to prove my sobriety.
Right.
You know, it's like if I were at an AA meeting, I would want to say how long I've been sober for. I'm taking this seriously. So I feel like for me, when people ask if I'm a comedian, I'm like, let me give you my credentials. I'm not just saying this.
Have you hit the point yet where you start weaseling your way into finding ways to do comedy when you shouldn't have been?
Maybe not shouldn't have been, but I'm definitely I travel for my day job.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to get booked on shows instead of just going to open mics, or if I go someplace for a vacation and it's worked out where I just kind of put out feelers and then I'm like, oh, I just got gas money on my vacation.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But
I was at it was one of those house concerts. This was my sponsor moment.
Okay.
I was at one of those come by this guy's house. There's a band in the living room. It was one of those. And then I was there and I just kind of looked around and I grabbed one of the people I knew. I was like, "Hey, can I do comedy while I'm here?" And it was that was my rock bottom moment when I knew. Dude, I did all right that night.
One of my It's not really a rock bottom moment, but it's definitely weirdly in between those two veins that you guys are talking about. Was at the old Pegasus Lounge one night. We show up to do the open mic, and they go, "Oh, no open mic. We just have bands tonight." So this comedian who used to live in the area named Joe goes, "Well, can we host?"
Oh, no.
And do comics in between, and they go, "Fuck yeah!" Why wouldn't we?
Dead stage time,
right?
Of course,
right? Why wouldn't we? So,
I can't believe that you fought for the chance to perform at Pegasus Lounge,
right?
Which is
don't turn us away. We must be seen.
Gotta be the most harrowing experience in comedy.
Oh yeah,
that place is a nightmare on wheels.
Well, because here's the thing, man. There were people there to see the band.
Oh no!
They did not want comedy.
So the normal indifference that you would have experienced at the Pegasus Lounge was now layered with a nice thin layer of resentment.
Right.
We actively don't want you here.
And remember, this is year 2 for me.
Oh, God.
So I go, we got this.
Such confidence.
We're going to fucking annihilate tonight.
So we get up there. Joe does his set. He actually does well.
Joe who?
I forget his last name. I think he's
Joe
stopped.
Comic.
Joe
yeah,
Comic.
I think he stopped doing comedy years ago now. But he was a great dude.
Some guy named Joe.
But
he was a great dude.
Yeah, he did a great job hosting, right? I can still remember his host set. That's how good he was, right? And then I go up after, and I hit a point where it's I'm not eating a bag of dicks. Because
Were you not?
Because there are 5 people up front who are just dying. And then there's 50 people behind them who could not have been more furious but silent about it.
Like grit the teeth angry.
Right, yeah. Right, and it was this whole intense thing of like, these 5 people are loving it, and these 50 people cannot wait to stab me in the parking lot. So I can't tell if this is a success or a wild failure.
So much hubris as an open micer that not eating a bag of dicks is 5 out of 50 people liking you. You're like, I'm pretty hilarious.
Right, and that's the thing though, is like, the only reason why I wasn't eating a bag of dicks is because like, the 50 people were furious, but they were silent. Like, they were waiting for like the band to be like, now we've heard it. Slay him.
Also, not to cast any aspersions on your talent, but 2 years in that moment, I almost feel like they were laughing at you.
Probably.
Not with you.
Probably.
Like, oh, look at how bad he's doing. Right. This is awesome.
And it also explains some open micers that you see where you're like, why do you think that you should continue with comedy?
Yeah.
They're like, well, everyone always laughs. I'm like, oh,
right.
You poor thing. There was a guy, you all know, you sit through just dog shit comedy. There's the 4 people you like.
Yeah. There's
the 10 people that you tolerate, and then there's the horrendous garbage.
The torrent of talent,
so,
quote unquote.
I'm at improv one night, and there's a guy up there, and it's clearly his first time. And I don't know if they were full-on street jokes that he had never written before, but they definitely had, like, a street joke vibe.
You guessed the punchline.
Well, not even that. Just if, like, you weren't in that situation. Yeah. Oh, I was driving the other day, and the guy said, and then the other guy said, it was like a lot of that.
Very fabricated jokes.
Yeah. And so me and Michael Murillo are sitting there listening to this guy, just kind of, doing the shit-eating comedian smirk. Oh, God, this guy. And then after he's about to wrap up, and he goes, so what I'm really trying to say is, and me and Murillo just exploded and almost fell out of our chairs. Like, oh, he's going to wrap up his message
right.
now. Now, here's what I'm really getting at, guys.
Have something to say.
Here it is. And then it was just another, straight joke.
He's going to take the stool, turn around backwards, and then hump it.
I'll never forget the first time I heard a guy say, I'm just kidding. I immediately started grabbing all the comics around me. Oh, don't worry, guys. He's just kidding. He wasn't serious about that. It's fine. He's just kidding.
It's like people weren't shocked. They just didn't think it was funny.
Right. I'm just kidding. Are you? I didn't know that's what we were here for.
There's a weird trend along what you're talking about with the shocked funny thing where it's like
it's just a joke,
right? And it
wasn't a good one.
But it's always the horribly racist dude who was like,
yeah, the guy it wasn't even like he crafted the racism in a way where it was funny or like he made a statement with it. He just said something shitty.
He's
that guy.
Right, he's the guy who gets up there. He's like, so, Negroes, am I right?
Yeah.
No.
Whoa, no, you are not right. You are not right.
And we wouldn't say it if you were.
We keep that to ourselves. That's called an inside thought.
Not out loud. Don't bring me in.
Don't make me. I will live with my own shitty thoughts, thank you very much.
But one thing I always hate is, there's a weird... I don't know if it's a weird thing people have come to know me for in the Tampa Bay scene, but people will come and be like, after, a fucking terrible set, that racist dude will come up to me and be like, hey, you're Rafiq, right? What'd you think about racism? And I'm like... No.
What do you think about racism?
Not about racism, but I mean I'm talking about the joke that's racist.
What'd you think about that Negro joke?
Right, and it's just I don't know who thought that I was the person to talk to about this.
Is it because you're brown, so you're the you're like
it's got to be it.
The bridge between the white and the black.
Oh, that's got to be
like,
it.
Yeah.
You're like your Middle Eastern maybe.
Yeah. His name is Rafiq. So.
Yeah.
And it's very weird because like people will they'll do the thing where it's like, I forget which comic used to have this, but there was a comic who used to use the phrase "Chinky Cheerios."
Yes, we talked about that the first time we recorded together.
Right.
Did you see the recognition?
In what context?
So, I don't remember the setup, but it was like some idea about inserting racism into your foods and like, but that would be like Chinky Cheerios, which are like Cheerios with just like a little slit in them. But it was that thing where you could see where he thought it was okay. You know what I mean? You could see where he thought he wasn't, but you're like, oh no, you're just saying racist shit.
Right. In his mind, though, he was trying to like make a comment on racism and racist food, but no one else had been thinking that.
Right.
So.
And I remember the first time I heard it, the conversation after that was like, "Hey, Rafiq, do you think Chinky Cheerios?
Should I make it kooky gumdrops or is that good?
It wasn't even
kooky
that.
gumdrops.
Just to give you an idea of who I am, that just came to me immediately. I could access that kind of thing real fast.
Horrible.
I know.
Horrible.
And like it was just one of those like, "Hey, you don't think this is so bad, right?" And it was like, "Oh, please don't make me the arbiter."
I'm the spokesperson for
exactly
the acceptable racist comment.
Right? It's because like, "Oh, do you think like I'm Asian, like Indian Asian, or like what do you?"
They don't know, Rafiq. Honestly, they don't know.
I think what was clearly happening with that joke was it was like that thing where we all know you could never get away with saying the N-word. But you can get away with saying chink. You know what I mean? It was like
we all said Chinky Cheerios.
Well, it was like that thing of like, nobody will be mad at me if I go after that target. And it's like, it doesn't make it less racist, dude. It's still shit. It's still complete shit. I will never forget, I may not even go into the whole story because it's really embarrassing. But I got up one night truly thinking I had a brilliant comedy idea. And it was by the time I got off stage, I realized all I did up there was be completely racist for 5 minutes.
Right.
Like, unexcusably racist for 5 minutes.
Did you think you were being edgy?
No, I was trying to connect this phrase with this phrase, and I still think it would work as a joke. It was the idea that if you say person of color, that's super politically correct. But if you say colored person, that's super racist, even though
unless you're in South Africa.
And you're right. It's essentially the exact same phrase, but one is crazy racist, and that's what I thought I was talking about. What I just now said.
And there's a lot there, because.
Right. But what I did was just get up there and talk about colored people for like 5 minutes. And after I got off stage, I was like, "What have I done?"
Right. You're like, the words, not the people, the phrase. Not the people.
I think it was JB. I pulled him aside. I was like, "Look, you know what I was trying to do there, right?" And he knew me well enough. Like, there was no animosity. He was like, "I know you are not a bad guy, but everything you just did was not okay." Yeah, that was essentially the conversation. Like, don't ever do that again.
See,
I know you're not a bad guy. That wasn't cool.
And
don't
God
do
bless
that.
JB Ball for not being like, man. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
On behalf of all of the colored people.
Right.
And I guess that's my problem though, is because I don't have that kind of aggressive personality where I just go like, "Bitch, no." Like, I just go like, "Ooh, I would highly."
Don't ask me.
Right. I would highly recommend that you reconsider your position on this.
If I were a white man, I would not say
that. And then people go like, "Oh, but you're not, so it's okay." And I go like,
you got me on the technicality. God damn it!
I should have been more forceful about
Curse
this.
My light skin.
I'm still deciding what side of the race war I'm going to be on. Like, this is not...
You shouldn't decide. That's the advantage of being brown. Is that
I was actually writing a joke the other day.
Swing race.
Like, I was at... swing race, that's good. I was writing a joke because I was at the supermarket the other day, and, like, some asshole had just stacked all of his food up, and then the belt started moving, so all of his stuff started falling off.
Why would he stack it?
Right? And so, like, I reached out and I stopped it, right? And so the cashier, who was a white girl, goes, "Oh, thank you." And then the white guy goes, "Hey, you trying to steal my pizzas?"
No, he didn't.
Yes.
First of all, they weren't his.
Such an excellent point. You get paid for these, sir. They're everyone's pizzas.
They weren't his. How are you going to steal them?
Right.
What are you going to do? Run to the next register? Ha ha!
He just puts the divider between them. Knocks the pile of pizzas over. Divider between them.
They're mine now, bitch.
They're on my half of the cart.
What a jackass.
Right? And so I started, the joke to me was like, I'm going to start tabulating all the times somebody of either race said something like that to me. So that way when the race wars happen, I can just go to the chart and be like...
Oh, that's great.
I love this premise. I love it. And you need so many more examples, and I want to know who's winning.
Right, to just be like, well...
Oh, yeah.
I want to know who's winning.
It's like, well, black people got it in the lead, so white people like...
Well...
And I feel like that really ties in with your other joke, and forgive me if that's not appropriate for this setting. Black girls won't fuck you, white girls won't fuck you.
Yeah.
So like that can go like right in there, like who's winning and there.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. No, you know I like to come in and fuck up your jokes in ways that you don't like. Here's what you do.
In ways you don't
Here's what you do. The joke is, because I'm sure in real life, the joke is that you're going to get way more shitty comments from white people. So the joke is, black people are winning because I get less shitty comments. But wait a minute. They won't fuck me. Now I hate everybody. That's the joke. Now you're just like on road because nobody will fuck you.
I love it.
Just true, because that's such an American concept that the race war is strictly black and white, right? Or white versus everybody else.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Come on, our side, we've picked a lot of fights with pretty much everyone else. Let's be.
I want everyone who's listening to know that I am a white woman and I am very neutral in the race war. I have not decided.
Look,
I don't
when
identify.
it happens, Rafiq will tell you, when it happens, it's not about wanting, it's about surviving. I don't want the race war more than anyone else.
But you gotta pick a side, right? Yeah. I mean, like, somebody reinstitutes slavery, I'm shooting for houseboy. Like, that's...
Oh, God.
So you're going about this
that
all
was
wrong,
the moment.
though.
That was the moment when you chart the listeners, like the spike went way down. Oh my God!
Or it went way up.
Yeah, well, wrong side. Yeah.
Yeah, right. We just gotta release this on Bright.
I like these guys.
At least you said houseboy, so.
Yeah. So now it's okay.
It's safe.
It is very weird because in my realm of things, like, I have gotten compliments along those lines before.
What lines?
Regarding your race?
One of my favorite...
What do you mean?
One of my favorite compliments of all time. I know I've told you about this girl.
You're not going to give me the whole articulate thing. You're so articulate. Not that kind of shit.
It's very close,
okay.
though.
Oh, God.
So, the girl I was dating in high school, Allan and I have talked about this, but I was dating this little white girl in high school, right?
Was she little because she was small or just because she was a high schooler?
I'm referring more to, like, just as a high schooler.
Rafiq was 27 at the time.
It's a very December May so the long story short, our relationship ended around the time of me and her making out in front of her apartment, or not her apartment, her house, her uncle seeing us. and saying there's some Negro at your fence, not the word Negro, at your fence with your daughter. Do you want me to go out and take care of it? And her parents' response was, that Negro is Rafiq. It's fine. Right?
Yeah.
Again, not the word Negro.
Horrifying.
Right, but that same family, at one point in time, we were having a conversation at dinner together, and we were talking about like the Civil War and slavery era. And
no way that could go badly.
Right, and
where did you grow up?
I went to high school in Sarasota, and I remember specifically the statement was, everybody's laughing at something because we're like, slavery, this is terrible, right? Awful things. And then I think it was like Mima or somebody at the dinner table goes, if slavery were still around, I'd keep you in the house.
Oh, no.
And I was like,
as if
such adorable.
Such
kind, sweet, generous racism.
As if you would go, oh, you.
Right.
Oh, you.
So when you said compliment, that's what you meant, is that you come across as very, houseboy.
Right, and it's that whole thing.
So, white people aren't threatened by you. They're like, we'll keep you inside.
Yeah, it's because it's like, as a black person, right, it's that whole thing of, because my dad is white and I have, lighter skin tone, when you look at my brother Oscar, he is onyx. When you look at me, you go like, oh, look at this little s'more,
Well, I mean, yeah, 'cause colorism is obviously a whole other subset.
And so for me, it's always been that thing of like, look, man, I could be militant black about this, but when I do that, people go, oh, that's adorable. He thinks he's black, as opposed to...
Okay. I think I picked up where you were going.
You see what I'm saying? So
because I've actually seen you with black guys drop the N-word as black guys do among each other. And when you do, I've noticed the other black guys get a little bit like, hey, what the fuck did he just say?
Right. And that's the thing, because I always walk this weird line, and I've told you about this too, but I've always had to walk this weird line of if the race war happened and I'm in a building and there's 49 white dudes and 50 black people, white people are going to go hey, Rafiq,
right.
You're with us, right?
Oh, yeah.
Whereas if there's 49 black people and 50 white people, it's yo, brothers got to stick together, right? And it's come on, man, don't do this to me. But
I feel like you're in a very unique position because as a mixed person, you're not just black or white. You also have, with North African heritage that really confuses people, right? And so they think that's almost Middle Eastern as well, which is Asian. So it's you can sort of fall into all of these racially ambiguous categories, which makes you very chameleon-esque.
Right. So I'm going to grab her photo real quick, but just to show you guys what my mom looks like.
Is this bio mom or raise you mom? Because I've seen pictures of Raise You Mom.
This is...
My goodness.
This is Raise You Mom or Bio Mom?
This is Raise Me Mom.
Okay.
Right? But
So Rafiq is showing us this incredibly gorgeous photo.
But you can see the skin tone.
Certainly.
Right?
Mm.
My biological mother has
woman.
the same skin tone.
Gotcha.
There is no difference between how Danlet and Edwina look skin tone wise. So when you look at me, you go, this and this don't matter.
Sure.
Right? If we were set at Burlington Coat Factory, so we'd be like, yeah, we're gonna throw the pants in for 90% off.
If we were at Burlington Coat Factory, you heard it here, folks. That was one of the weirdest lines I've ever heard in my life. And I'm alone.
Well, when you're at Burlington, you expect a matching set of coats with the money that you're spending.
And so it's just very weird because I identify as a black person. I love my people. My culture has always been a part of me, but it's that thing of my culture doesn't accept me.
You just don't fit anywhere, Rafiq.
Yeah, I know.
That must be challenging.
I'm going to, I brought a couple violins.
Okay.
If anybody wants to ring them up a little bit.
Yeah, thanks.
Real quick. I'm dying. So, I think it's time for our recurring segment.
Which one?
It's called, What's Making You Miserable This Week, Rafiq? I really need a after I ask that.
So, I'm debating about either one of these, and I have been said to
Just pick one.
All right, we'll do the corporation one.
Okay.
Just because that's probably more relatable. I, at 30 plus years, am so sick and tired of working for a big organization anymore.
Because got a lot of years left.
It's so terrible, though. Right? Like, everyone... Can we all just agree that it's just crushing?
The worst.
Right? And it's like because I was told a specific lie when I was, like, growing up. It was like, you go to school, you study, you go to college, you get a degree, then you get out of college, you get a job that's fucking soul-crushing, but hey, at least they pay you enough that you get to own your own house and enjoy your own little miserable hobbies or whatever at your house, and you don't really got to worry about...
That hasn't been true for a good 20 years.
Right, but that's the lie I was told.
If you want to really... Do yourself a favor one time, start playing with an internet, inflation calculator, and look at, somebody was making $13,000 a year, and that was the median, right?
And what they could buy with that.
But what that translates to today,
right?
And I don't know anyone who makes that today. You know what I mean?
And it's working for the unnamed tribe and casino here in town.
Which of the several Tampa tribes and casinos could you be referring to? Is what I want to know.
Right. But, they are... One of the things is, working for that huge organization, they are constantly reminding us, oh, you guys are the best. We just got rated by Michelin, right? We're a $1.5 billion property just here in Tampa. You guys are amazing. And then I go, hey, I can barely afford my rent.
Yeah.
If we're so amazing... Why are you trying to actively kill me?
I'm going to fuck up these numbers. My dad's in real estate. You know that.
Yeah.
And he...
Can he give me a deal on a house?
Probably. The number he gave me was that... I'm going to fuck this up. But it was real estate has gone up, let's say 30%, but the average income has gone up 12%. So it was...
Wow.
It probably wasn't that big of a jump, but it was numbers...
That feels...
It was not numbers that match. Yeah. It was a big, that fucking explains it kind of a thing.
And it's the thing I hate, though, and this is the thing that's been making me miserable, is, that nonsense happens, and then they keep on going, oh, but we're like a family here. We're like a family. And I'm like, do you actively try to choke your cousin out? Because this is what it feels like when you tell me we're family. Yeah.
We're family. Well... There's a part of me that goes, if any part of you ever believed that, then you're really the asshole, right?
I guess. I've never believed the family thing, but I was always like, well, I'm an adult, and this is an organization full of adults, so we can at least agree to treat each other reasonably,
sure.
Right? You pay me a reasonable salary, and I do a reasonable job, and you
But that's work culture right now, though, is the culture of employee retention and family and this idea of you work in a good place. Don't worry about what we pay you.
Right.
We take care of you in other ways. That's the culture right now.
Right, and it's aren't you so lucky to have this job? And it's nigga, you paid me to be here. I didn't wake up this morning wanting to come to work. Somebody at my job recently asked me, hey man, do you want to come in for overtime? It's only going to be another 10 hours.
Oh, is that all?
Only.
Right? And I was like, and in my head, I was like, I don't even want to be here the 8 hours you pay me to be here. Why do you think I want to be here for 18 hours out of a day? Right? Can somebody here
1.5 times
Right.
sound any better to you?
If I weren't making so much money then it's like I wouldn't be able to survive at all.
I have found that, I don't know how to say this, but I do like working at the big small company, if that makes sense.
What do you mean?
Like they're, relatively large building. They clearly bring in a lot of money, but they're not part of a giant, nationwide connected. It's like it's all in-house. You walk by the boss several times a day.
Yeah.
Those places, in my experience, tend to be cool places to work.
I agree.
You still get your benefits and shit, but there's, I walked by Mr. So-and-so the other day,
It's not, so in that respect, like, the unnamed tribe of Florida, isn't so bad, because you do run into your boss all the time on property.
Right, but you're still
I think he means like the owner or the president.
Right. But, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
okay.
So on certain weekends, like when they unleashed a big name star's golden piano at the unnamed casino, company president.
God, I wish there was a way that I could access instant information. And I could look this up and discover. If it had like a silly name, like Boingo or something, that I could just type something.
Zuby,
yeah.
But I go figure it out for yourself, kids. But so like when they do big events like that, they will stay on company grounds, because why wouldn't you? It's a free hotel suite, and stay there.
But what I'm talking about, ultimately, where you work is still a chain,
right?
And there's still a corporate.
There's
yours is not the only one in the world,
right? I gotta go when I go to HR. I gotta go talk to a person who talks to talks to somebody else, who talks to somebody else, who talks to corporate.
I work for a huge company that you know about, but everybody works in that building. Everybody.
I'm trying to field out what your company is.
Really? Yeah.
What company you work for?
You dick. I work for an entertainment company, and have I not ever said it? I probably shouldn't. Anyway, everything's in it. It's live entertainment, and everything's in-house.
Okay.
So literally, you're walking by the mechanics who work on the machine that's in the show, and you're walking by, I'm in the marketing department, but there's the video guy and the costume guy. I pee next to him in the stall every day. And, the whole, it's a giant building. They say it's the 3rd largest building in Florida, but the entire company is right there. So these people are making sets all day. These people are working on the trucks all day. I'm over here in marketing. The brand people are right above me. We walk by Mr. So-and-so regularly. He's still a little Bigfootish. You don't see him every day, but it's not uncommon to, walk right past him. Like,
that's pretty cool.
And kinda,
sounds like it's a little city.
Yeah, I always try to reach out and get some of his billionaire dust on me.
Sure,
to see if I can scrape some of that
Get that
off.
influence, for sure.
Where do you work at? You said you travel a lot, but I don't think I've ever actually asked you where you work.
I work for a software company that no one will have ever heard of. I'm not protecting its identity.
Sincerely, no one would ever.
It's just obscure.
Yeah, you work for Enitech. Okay.
No, yeah. So it's a public sector. It's public sector. So most people don't know it unless you work in a government building and you've used my payroll software before.
Is it Ask Jeeves? It's Ask Jeeves, isn't it?
I cannot
you cannot
confirm nor deny.
It is Ask Jeeves. Okay.
So I work for a large 500,000 person company, but I'm a remote employee and I have been for 4 years, and that suits me very well.
That sounds awesome.
It is. It's a very good balance of having the benefits of the larger company, having the 401k, the vacation time, the HR corporate policies, which I know sound horrible. They're also very helpful when you're in
A bind?
A bind,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. But
And-
also being remote, I don't have to put on a face every day.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing is like if I could just do security remotely.
Now how?
I would.
I'd like to go down this path with you.
I mean,
How?
you could. It's just a different field.
Yeah.
You could
And
do
it's
like
cyber.
mercenary work.
Mercenary
for
work.
like a Blackwater type, soldier of fortune, huh?
He's not actually kidding. Have I ever told you that?
You do mercenary work?
Yeah,
I don't know what he's talking about right now.
Yeah, so that's what I do. So like, I work.
I have to go take a nap. What's happening?
So, which is Dark Company, which is a shameless plug, is what I do with one of my brothers who is a mercenary, and I do logistics work. That's where I get the majority of my money from.
Sounds like a lot of healthcare is happening in this. What is happening? I'm so confused.
Basically, all they do is the UN pays us more or less to put together teams that train UN peacekeepers like first aid skills, and
That is so not as cool as what was the movie I had in my head. I had your brother killing people that weren't officially sanctioned to be killed, and I mean, I went full commando up in here.
I mean, he could because he goes out into the bush, but like I basically stay here and just. Here's an email.
There is no, I can't sell this movie, Rafiq. I need you to spice this up. This is
How many people are dying?
Yeah, look.
I have to
For
have
justice.
I have to have boobs every 10 minutes, and I have to have like a death every 10 minutes. I can't work with what you're giving me here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, essentially, if this were a movie, he would be Punisher and I would be Micro. Like, I'd be the dude in the chair.
Sure. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, you went. Yeah, you definitely spiced it up there.
Yeah. My brother always describes it as like it's basically James Bond concierge service. Like that's it. Like it's.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I got nowhere to go from there. I can't believe that's a thing. Woo! All right. We're going to move on to something we do with most of our guests, assuming we have time. I don't have the physical item with me because I forgot to bring everything today.
Literally everything.
So we have we've found a man who's really he's become a real inspiration.
Well, you could say we've fallen in love with him.
We've fallen in love with him.
A bromance, if you will.
Oh, definitely a bromance of some kind.
Sure. He is Ed the Machine Regine. He apparently is a cruise comedian. And I have a copy of his fantastic album called Ed the Machine's Regine's. I've sucked it. 100 of the funniest jokes I've ever heard.
And there's a parental advisory.
There's a parental advisory sticker on this.
I'm sold.
One of the things we've discovered in our journeys is that virtually none of the track names correspond with the actual joke.
Okay.
In all 100. We had decided that if we find the one that actually clicks, then we win.
Right.
But that happened at like number 17, so I was like,
Right.
I guess we have to keep going.
But here's the thing. We found it at 17, and then none of them have matched up since.
Now, unfortunately, since I don't have the item with me, we can't continue to compare the titles with the tracks. But rest assured, none of what you're about to hear would actually be written properly on the back of the CD.
Now, I can tell you as one comic to another, this is definitely Eddie Murphy level.
Yeah, this is going to be.
I see.
This is going to change.
I see.
This is really going to change what your view of, like, you think you know comedy.
Sure.
It's gonna get blown right out of the water. So we're on track number 18.
Track number 18.
I don't know what it's called, but it wouldn't matter anyway.
Right.
Ed the Machine Regine's 100 of the funniest. This is one of the funniest jokes he's ever heard. And here we go with track
So these three husbands are in a bar and they're drinking and they're talking about how great they are in bed. So the first guy says, let me tell you something. When I go down on my wife, she raises 3 inches above the bed. And the second guy goes, that's nothing. When I give it to my wife doggy style, she goes 6 inches above the bed.
What does that mean?
The third guy says, come on, that's nothing. After I'm done fucking my wife and I wipe my dick on the drapes, she hits the fucking ceiling.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Oh, God.
So funny.
Shut up, Ed. Fuck you.
So funny. First of all, if you're doing your wife doggy style, isn't she already at least 6 inches above the bed? Like,
help me. Are they levitating? What is he talking about?
I get it with the going down. I understand the image that he's painting.
Is there a back arch happening? What does that mean?
I mean, I would assume it's a back arch. It's, the back
Sure.
arch, the butt being lifted into the air in
So,
ecstasy.
Given that, you would already be at least 6 inches above the bed in a doggy style position.
I mean, at least if we're comparing, the butt.
Genital to cushion ratios.
Because it's the only part of your body that could be,
Right.
Although
Let me ask you something. This morning, did you think you would hear the phrase genital to cushion ratio?
I really thought you were going to say something else there, but no, I did not think that.
What's happening? Oh my God, what are we pausing this for? I don't know what's happening. We're good. Everything's fine.
Okay.
All right, go.
But I will ask you this, or I will say this. It's a little weird that they're not even comparing the same type of lovemaking, right? I'm going down to my wife. Well, we're doing doggy style. And it's like, well, yeah, that's not the same thing.
Right.
Like,
And then
That's two different skill sets.
right?
Well, let's take it a step further. Wiping my dick on the drapes, he could just be jacking off.
Right, exactly.
So, which I suppose is part of the joke, is the ineptitude of sex as it progresses. But they think they're pleasing their woman more, but really they're doing less.
It's like she hits the ceiling, right? Yeah. It's like that's how you can tell.
Those are jokes for men who think that the female orgasm is a myth.
You think so?
Those are jokes for.
All right, let's go down that path for a minute.
Those are jokes for men who don't believe the female orgasm is a myth. They haven't heard of the female orgasm.
I've been with my wife for 30 years, and I would have known if
I would have known
orgasm.
at this
I
point.
would have known if it was real.
I hated the machine regime.
You love him, don't you? Take that shit out of your mouth.
Is he a very old man?
Tell us what you think Ed would look like.
Paint a picture.
Okay. I am picturing a white man.
Sure.
In his 70s. Balding. Skinny but not fit. Ill-fitting
You're a little
clothing.
No, I'm not going to give her that one either. Ed the Machine Regime. I don't even know how to say his name. He kind of looks like a retired gangster. He's gray.
Okay.
He's definitely sick. He could be in his 70s. I'm going to put him in his 60s.
So now I'm picturing MJ at Coconuts. That's a very specific.
That's fair, but you're going to have to give the audience a description.
So Guido, gold chains, mostly balding, but he puts a lot of gel in his hair to kind of like lift it up a little bit.
We're getting there, yeah.
The illusion of hair. He wears a lot of rings.
Sure, yeah.
I can definitely imagine if anyone wears a lot of rings.
All we know of Eddie, old Eddie, I like to call him.
Oh, Eddie, I mean, that's helping with the picture, sure.
All we know of old Eddie, I've grown familiar enough with him that I can call him that. We've got basically just a cutout head on the CD. So, but I wouldn't be. We're talking about a lot of bowling shirts.
Right.
Like a very pointy collar.
Very pointy collars. There's definitely some rings as well. Big guy, big hands.
Gold chain, some chest hair maybe exposed.
You don't see that on the
he's
CD.
Up. He's buttoned up.
But you can definitely imagine.
But when he's out by the pool, he's definitely got a little chain floating in a nice little nest of.
Yeah, something that says like Sex Panther on
I'm
it.
not. Yes. I'm not gonna say he absolutely has like the big beer gut, but he probably has. like big hands, big head, big
He's
Tony Soprano.
Maybe he used to be
meaty
fit
guy.
in his youth, so the beer gut isn't as
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like it's solid. It's not like hanging over, but it's
right. I would go. He's a meaty guy.
He's a meaty guy.
So off-season linebacker, sort of.
Right. When you said the word Guido, I was like,
You're like,
that's
But he likes to talk like he's from vaudeville when he tells his jokes. So there's this guy. Every joke. There's this guy. Is there a guy? Fuck you, Ed. All right. Here we go. Number 19. I'm ready to go I'm already exhausted. I don't know what this joke's going to be. I'm already exhausted. Here's number 19.
3 former presidents are in a limousine, and they get swept up by a tornado, and they land in the land of Oz. And they're standing in front of the wizard. And Jimmy Carter steps forward and says, I need some courage. And George W. Bush steps forward and says, I need a brain.
Be racist. Be racist.
Bill Clinton steps forward and says, is Dorothy around?
So
So not only are his jokes hilarious,
so funny,
timely.
It aged very well. The references are spot on and not at all overdone.
No.
Not at all. My other question about Ed is, so he's just recording these jokes in a vacuum? He's not telling them to anyone, clearly.
No.
You think Ed would deign to waste these?
Well, these are the 100 best jokes.
Why would
he's ever heard.
Why would you try them in front of people?
Exactly. I mean...
Yeah, this is... okay.
Who produced this?
I'm opening presents.
I love the idea that you think somebody else was involved in the production.
That he came down,
the
he
CD.
was like, 100 best jokes.
Part of why we need the CD is so you can see. It's one of the thin pack of 50 cases, Is it
even like a proper plastic CD, or is it just like a card, like a paper cover?
It is plastic, but it's one of the real thin pack of 50 plastics. And the CD itself is clearly it's got the company Videla-Trex or whatever on it. I just made that up, but I don't think I made that up. I think it's a Homestar reference.
Sounds right.
But then it's like a printed label that he stuck on there.
Like a printed label from his printer.
Right.
Like not like he went out to
the
pro
physical
copy.
CD?
Yeah.
No.
I can't remember.
Is the CD itself blank? Did he burn this in his basement?
Absolutely.
Yes.
How did you acquire this? Was he passing them out on the street?
I'm opening... I want to keep this short because I've told this story 70 times.
I'm so sorry.
That's fine. I'm opening presents. My brother likes to buy silly presents for Christmas. You like to laugh when you're like, oh, you wacky. And I open this CD, and this is the one that's made me really laugh. I'm buckled over. I go, what the hell is this? And then
you're a comedian.
And then his wife goes, oh, we saw him on a cruise, and we thought that you might like that.
This man live.
Yeah, it was a sincere present that she bought. It's signed. It says, hey, Alan, keep them laughing. Ed the Machine Regine.
It's signed to you. So you're not close with your sister-in-law.
I love her dearly, but
she doesn't know you.
I'm not above doing this because there are things that are more important in life.
I kind of feel like we need to bring her on now so she could tell us what her experience of Ed was.
I mean, she obviously thought that he was hilarious.
Yeah, she saw him on a cruise, thought he was great, thought I would like the CD.
How old is your sister-in-law?
She's late 30s.
Not old enough.
Yeah.
Not old enough to think this is.
She's got to be in her late 30s. She's one of those very sweet people who doesn't care about things being super sophisticated.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's not a cynical, depressive
no,
the rest of us.
Which is hilarious because my brother, there's no way he enjoyed that comedy show. Because as bad as I am, he's worse.
So he knows that when she was like, oh my God, we should get this CD signed for Alan, he was like, yes!
Probably.
We should.
He probably egged her on.
There's nothing else we should ever
no doubt
do.
on that. Yeah. He made sure that transaction happened.
That's amazing.
He just created a book called I think it's called The Wit and Wisdom of and it's all the times that she fucked up a phrase, like the time she said a breath of fresh water. And so it's just like it's like a chronicle of all the times she fucked up when she said something. Or
that's such true love, though, where you're just like, you're so ridiculous, but I find it to be incredibly charming. And I'm going to put it in this book.
It's a bound book with handwritten. It's great.
That's so cute.
That is
I'm awful for poor. That's so cute.
Here's the thing. That is the kind of thing that I aspire to, because I go like, oh, I wish somebody would like me enough.
Like, even when they're like, you're so dumb. Like, but you're so wonderful.
Right. Like not in like that weird snappy kind of way where it's like, oh, now you're embarrassing me in front of other people, but the kind of way where it's like, oh, my beautiful little retard. Like, why?
Well, do you want to be the retard, or do you want to have a retard?
What he wants.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I want to have the kind of relationship where when I fuck up, someone goes, sweetie, no.
So you want to date mommy. Well. That's what I heard.
No, see, because I'm too aggressive for that. But at the same point in time, it's the whole thing of like, because especially after watching my grandfather and my grandmother when they were still alive, my had no problem telling my grandmother, like, I love you. That was the dumbest thing I've ever, like...
Well, yeah, because by the time you're a grandparent's age, it's like, where's she gonna go? Like, you can tell her she's
gonna go out on the town.
Yeah, where is she gonna
eligible
men. You stuck with me, bitch. Like...
Maybe that's, I need to learn how to be more gentle. I'm like firing squad guy. I'm going through, my significant had a bad conversation with somebody important in her life. And so she's showing me the phone to like, let me show you what I'm dealing with. And I'm scrolling through it.
You were wrong.
And immediately I just went, you got to quit taking the bait. And I think I'm helping her. All she's hearing is that I'm calling her an asshole.
Sure, or
and
gullible.
I'm like, you gotta quit taking the bait. Yeah. You fall for it every time. You gotta stop letting her do this to you.
So
it's her mother, right?
No, how'd you guess?
So
I have one.
Yeah.
So when you say that, I immensely relate to that, because there's somebody who I've been hooking up with recently, and this made me feel terrible. Because we're in bed together, and there's a conversation that happens that ends up with her in tears.
Oh, God.
And she goes...
What did you say?
She goes...
Whoa, did you see her immediately take the woman's side on this? This was clearly your fault, Rafiq. What'd you do?
Right.
Why'd you make her cry?
And here's the thing. I have no problem I would have no problem being like, you were absolutely right. I fucked this up. But the thing that stunned me the most is she's like, sometimes I don't even know if you like being around me. And I was like, I don't know what I've done to imply that.
Rafiq, I dated you for 8 years. Like, oh my God, I know who you are. I know exactly who you are.
Right? And it's
I've been in a relationship with you.
The reality is that question is really her asking for you to put in more effort and to make her feel happy. Because a lot of times when a woman is saying, I don't feel like you want to be around me, we're just saying I feel neglected or ignored. And sometimes it's just, you're like, I'm in my house, we just banged, I'm tired.
And here's my thing, because I go, if that is what you're feeling, I am more than happy to correct it. But my problem is that when somebody says that to me, I go like, oh,
you're like, I don't right now.
Right, it's like, we cuddled. Like, I don't know, like, what happened between the cuddling and this where you felt that way? What did I do? What am I missing?
You just have to understand that for women, like, post-coitus cuddle should take place until she leaves the bed. Particularly if you're not spending a lot of time together, because anytime that you turn away, even if it's just because you want to breathe and it's hot and you want to relax and actually go to sleep, she's going to feel like, well, we're just fucking, and now you don't even want to sleep with me? That's very hurtful.
That's a very insightful opinion.
Sometimes it's even as much as just being like, I love cuddling with you, but I'm really hot.
Yes,
or
that's what you have to do.
I can't sleep like this, and I just genuinely want to sleep. You have to explain it, because a woman is automatically going to be like, what's wrong with me?
Right, and because I go, you tell me this, and I go, I get it, I got it, I'll change it. Right.
But tears is not an acceptable way.
And again, I went, we were just cuddling, and then this went from 0 to 100, and I went, holy shit, what the fuck happened?
Here's my assessment of Rafiq's travels.
In the bedroom? Is that...
Yeah.
We've been friends long enough that he knows way more shit than he should.
First of all, he finds somehow the same woman every time. There's a factor. There's a mad scientist out there taking the same brain and just putting it in different bodies and sending it out.
Brittany, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
In Jessica's body.
So he's. I don't believe you're autistic. He's autistically logic driven, right? And so you got that, which doesn't work in an interpersonal thing. But then he also finds the women who have no logical ability whatsoever. And then I get these insane text messages like, what happened here? And then I'll read and I'm like, you are both insane is what's happening here.
And neither it's one so of you. Obvious, and how do neither of you see it?
Yeah. Like, I know you want me, and here's me clicking back, I know you want me to blame it on her, but this is both of you guys.
Now, I don't know you very well, but I suspect if you are very logically driven in that sense, and based on a little bit that I do know about you, I suspect that you are attracted to drama, but you're very much the kind of person that's going to be like, what? No, drama. But somehow he keeps dating bitches that bring drama.
Let me ask you a question. How long have you been reading his diary? Because
thanks.
I'm just very empathic. I can just pick up on vibes.
My personal standpoint is, when it comes to that whole thing, you're gonna say, "Oh, this is you just."
By the way, worms all over the table.
Right.
We're at 56 minutes. We are not going to resolve this anytime soon.
You're gonna go, this is just reaffirming the drama aspect of what you just said. But to me, I go, I don't like drama. I really don't. I don't mind people being theatrical, but I feel like there's a distinct difference betwixt those things.
It's because you've confused drama with passion. So you think that a girl is passionate if she gets very jealous, if she gets
I didn't bring the mic for you to drop it. For fuck's sake.
If she's upset that you're not calling her, like you're seeing this what is really drama and just
mental
conflict.
Illness.
Yes, you're seeing that as passion, and she's really into me, and my dick made her crazy.
I gotta take a walk.
My dick made her crazy, and that is very exciting and thrilling for you.
I told you I could pick good guess.
God damn. Why did it take us so long to get here? And also, keep in mind, we
truly don't know each other. We really...
Oh, but you do, though. Oh, you do so. Oh, fuck me. It's so right. It's so right. The reason why I know it's so right is because I was that guy for so fucking long.
Of course you were.
I was that guy until I spent 8 years underwater. I can't do this shit anymore.
But I bet the sex was amazing.
It gets even that lost its edge after a while. It's just,
That's always a weird thing, especially like when you're in a committed relationship for a minute, where you're just like, this is a thing we're supposed to be hot, heavy, whatever, like 9 times out of 10, and then at a certain point you're like, I don't know why we're just going through the motions with this.
The girl I'm with now is so great about that stuff. Like, if it's been a while, she's got no shame in telling me, like, this is going to happen because it's been too long. Mm-hmm. And then if it starts getting, I won't get into specifics.
It becomes a health issue.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we just got to bang it out. And
but then
make
if it
sure we're
starts,
happy.
she's also not the least bit shy to go like, okay, it's been a while since you X. Do X now.
All right.
Got it. On it. Get it
what a
done.
good woman. She's like, don't you dare go looking elsewhere. Like, I have got everything you need.
Yeah, she's real good about letting me know what she needs when she needs it.
She sounds like she's a grown-up adult lady.
She is a very grown-up adult lady.
See, now, if you had a point of
Do you
fault,
date 20-somethings?
I date
Of course
people.
you do.
Yeah, probably.
What are you, 34?
No, 31.
31, okay, excuse me. So, yeah, of course you're dating 20-somethings. That's the problem.
Well, so it's not even that. Is the whole thing of, like, I have tried to date up, right? Because I want somebody who's emotionally stable, somebody who I go like, hey, you're tired from work, right? Do you want me to just come over, cook, and we just hang out? Like, we don't have to do anything, but, like, it would be nice to have some emotional intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be swell, right? And then those people go, great. I'd like to date somebody younger, because that helps remind me of my vibrant youth. Mm. And I go, oh, fuck me. All right?
Well, let's be honest, you've always been about 75 inside. Which is not a criticism, because I've always been 95 inside. So it's...
Okay, that's fair, because I always went 45.
Yeah.
Because I've always been acutely aware of myself as a person where I go, like, I have always been 45 inside. And the weird thing is, I know I'm going to hit 45, and then I'm going to hit 46, and I'm still going to be 45.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I hit 70, I'm still going to be 45 inside.
But you're a comedian, too, so you're still really 16 inside.
Yeah.
Because...
Boobies make me laugh.
I do like... Yeah, boobies are awesome.
They're great. Who doesn't like boobies?
Who doesn't like boobies? That should be the name of this episode. That should be the name of the whole podcast. Who doesn't like boobies?
So speaking of being 16 on the inside, I wrote a super dark, Inspector Gadget joke today on Facebook.
Cool.
Because I was just thinking of the fact of, again, being functionally an adult but still being a child on the inside. I was like, Inspector Gadget is an inspector. He's a police inspector. Which means at some point in time, he's probably served with homicide. So for some reason, in my brain, I was just imagining a cop talking to Inspector Gadget going like, yeah, man, I guess...
I just thought of the worst thing I could possibly think of.
Like, I guess the victim was being dismembered in the bathtub, and then the killer heard a noise, and that's when he saw victim number 2 and stabbed him 47 times. And then he's like, what a terrible thing to do to a child. Oh, we're going to have to wait for CSI to get involved. Go, Gadget helicopter. Sadly.
Now,
like, you don't need me.
Can I make it...
I'll tell Penny to go home.
Right? Like...
Can I make it even worse? Because what floated through my cortex was Go Gadget rape kit.
Right.
That's what floated across my brain.
I also like the idea that, like, it's so common that he has the Go Gadget rape kit, like, on his person.
Well,
like,
he works for whatever that Law and Order thing is. It's the one that's specially is for that.
The special victims.
Special victims. She's got it. Someone knows what she's talking about.
But that's
special.
See, but that was the weird thing about the show, even though, is like, because he was a police inspector before the accident. So again, in my brain, I go, so that means he served time on homicide.
Did they ever?
Is Inspector British?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has kind of an overcoat situation.
So,
he kind of looks like Jacques Cousteau. Not Jacques Cousteau. Who's Pink Panther?
That is...
It's not Cousteau.
No, that's the scuba diver.
We all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He dresses like that. He dresses like
You're talking about Peter Sellers.
Yeah, but the character.
Yeah. It is Inspector Clouseau.
Clouseau.
Yeah.
Clouseau.
Not Clouseau.
The car.
Right.
The car.
But, again, in my, so being perpetually 16 on the inside, it was like, oh, I like cartoons, and then I was like cartoons. But then as an
yours is good.
Cartoons and rape, right? Hilarious.
Well, but that again, as
only Rick and Morty.
As an adult, you circle back to like how deep and dark the world actually is.
I really like yours because yours takes you down this very detailed murder, and then just sadly he goes away on his.
I think I like that idea. He like comes in like I'm gonna help, and then he's like, ugh.
go guys and look after
her. Too real.
Oh God! All right, kids, we're at 1:04 here. It's probably time to wrap this sumbitch up.
Yeah. So, is there anything you'd like to plug before you go?
Come see me at Snappers Comedy Club, Side Splitters, the first weekend of August.
Nice.
And I'm in Wesley Chapel.
Won't have this before August.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
do you have a Twitter? Or do you have
Reluctant Cat Mom on Instagram. That's the best way to find me.
Reluctant Cat Mom on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anything else? Or
Kaiti McCoy on Twitter and Facebook. Kaiti. That's it. Thank you for having me, guys.
We love you. We're definitely having you back.
Oh,
yeah, I can't wait.
This was a real good
episode. Oh, good.
I'm Allan Dempsey.
And I am Rafiq Sheen. And so how about this? How about this? Yeah.